This 8-year-old camera is still my go-to in 2024, and don't you dare sleep on it. Here's why. This is the Olympus E-M1 Mark II, released back in 2016. That makes it an 8-year-old camera, and given how fast brands are pumping out new tech nowadays, you might as well call it the grandpa. But I would also argue that it should be referred to as the OG, given how effective it still is. Or, because of how sexy it is, might as well call it the granddaddy. Jokes aside though, this camera was so ahead of the game. 8 years ago, this was Olympus's flagship camera, and they pumped it with so much tech that stands the test of time to this very day. Right now, this camera sells for $450 to $500 depending on where you look. I'm pretty sure you can get one cheaper if you have the patience to look for deals, but at the time when I bought this camera, I didn't. I bought mine on eBay because I was trading some stuff in, but there's no shortage of this camera on eBay or any other secondhand market out there. That being said, this camera probably has the best bang for buck value for both enthusiasts and professionals alike. For one, it has a face detect autofocus system, so it's as fast and sticky as any other modern camera you can compare it with. This is an upgrade over its predecessor, the E-M1 Mark I, that only uses contrast detect autofocus. This feature isn't just so you can take a single shot though. No, because its subject tracking is also super impressive in continuous autofocus. Pair that with the 18 FPS electronic shutter and you have yourself a camera that's very well capable of taking photos of fast moving subjects. Here are photos of my wife and our boy playing. You won't believe how fast our dog runs after his ball, and yet the camera has no problems catching up to him. This camera also has a pro capture mode where it takes 25 photos before you even fully press the shutter button. The buffer isn't bad either, so it's perfect for wildlife and sports or any other situation where you find that your subject moves faster than your reaction time. But what good are those features if the photos don't look good, right? Well, you don't have to worry about that because the image quality here is terrific. 20 megapixels on a micro four thirds camera might not seem like a lot, but trust me, all you really need is 12. So 20 is plenty. That and the Olympus color science and a fast lens like this 12-40 f2.8 and you're well on your way to taking great photos. Not to mention, this thing also has a 5-axis image stabilization that works so well. Robin Wong himself took photos that are tack sharp, handheld, with shutter speeds as slow as 5 seconds. 5 freaking seconds. I cannot explain to you how impressive that is, that so many modern cameras that are worth 4 times this camera cannot even sniff that. Imagine taking photos of a waterfall or light trails in the city or astrophotography even and not having to need a tripod. That is insane! Now I personally cannot claim to do that. I have not gone that slow yet. But what I can tell you is that the IBIS on this camera has allowed me to take photos in low light using relatively low ISO. The IBIS also works on video, and again, while I cannot claim to be any good at that either, this is the camera I use to make these vlogs. It goes up to 4K 30, and if you want slow motion, 1080 60. The autofocus in video does switch to contrast detect, so there might be a limitation there that I personally just didn't notice. It also shoots OM log in 8-bit internally, so you do have room for all the cinematic color grading that's all the hype nowadays. And last but not the least, the Olympus E-M1 Mark II is completely weather sealed. So if you're the type to shoot in the rain, or you have photo shoots that are wet and wild and colorful, then this is definitely a camera you should be looking into. Now you might be asking, there are modern cameras with similar features, so why should you settle for something that's secondhand when you can buy it brand new? And that is a great point. So let's say you have $500 to spend on a camera body, which is the price of the E-M1 Mark II in the used market, right? What can you even get at that price point? Well, I scoured the websites of the most well-known camera brands and found the following as their cheapest bodies. The Canon R50 for $600, Sony ZV-E10 for $600, the Nikon Z30 for $610, Lumix G100 for $600, including the kit lens, the Olympus E-M10 Mark IV, also including the kit lens, $700, and Fujifilm, typical, has no stocks. They're all at least $100 more expensive than the E-M1 Mark II, and they're all entry-level cameras. Now, I don't actually have these bodies, so I can only go based on what I researched, but from my understanding, the Canon R50, the Sony ZV-E10, and the Nikon Z30 are pretty much the same cameras, just manufactured by different brands. They all have plastic bodies without any in-body image stabilization, they have slower burst rates, but they also shoot 4K 30. Their only real advantage is that they can shoot 1080-120 for super slow motion. So if you're leaning more towards making videos, then maybe the extra $100 will make sense to you. But if you don't need the super slow motion, consider getting yourself the Olympus E-M1 Mark II and save yourself some money. And now it's my turn to ask you a question. If you're buying a camera body, you're going to need a lens for it too, right? Of course you are, so let's throw that into the equation. With their respective kit lenses, the Canon R50, Sony ZV-E10, Nikon Z30, and the Olympus E-M10 Mark IV all cost $700. Mind you, these are kit lenses, so they're generally cheaper and are not fast lenses. They're versatile and great to begin with, but for the extra $200, there's so many other lenses that you can get for more specific purposes. For example, you can get Olympus's 45mm f1.8 if you're more into portraits, the Olympus 25mm f1.8 for your everyday carry, the Olympus 30mm f3.5 if you're into macro photography, or Panasonic's 14mm f2.5 if you're more inclined to landscapes and astrophotography. If these lenses don't appeal to you because you prefer versatility over speed, then you also have the option to get the 14-42 and the 40-150 kit lens together. That gets you a 28-300 full frame equivalent for less than $200. Including the price of the E-M1 Mark II, either of these lens options will still hold you under $700. So from my perspective, the only reason you should go for the brand new equipment is for that purpose, getting brand new equipment. And that's a valid reason too, by the way. The E-M1 Mark II is not a perfect camera by any stretch of imagination, so I'm not gonna be the one to knock you if you choose to go a different direction. All I'm trying to present to you here is that if you're looking for photography gear that punches way above its price, then the E-M1 Mark II definitely holds its own relative to what's available in 2024. And that is enough of me talking. If you're still here, I'm sure you're tired of my face too, so let's go take some photos. Hey, I'm at Gidney Park. It's 10:30 a.m. so light is a little bit more intense than I would have wanted it, and there's people walking around, which I kind of hate, to be honest. But hey, whatever, man. Let's go take photos. I have with me the Olympus E-M1 Mark II paired with the MZD 12-40 f2.8. Let's go have some fun. So as always with these photo walks, I like to start with the sign of whatever place I'm going to or whatever place I'm taking the photo walk on. And in this case, it's this one, Gidney Park. It says, basically just says Gidney Park. I'm trying to find an angle though. I'm not sure if I want to include that mini library in my photo if I just want the sign. So I'm kind of overthinking right now, which kind of happens at the very start of my photo walks. It's a bad habit I need to shake, but we'll see. It's probably a nice angle. Yeah, should probably work. Maybe, let's see. So this is probably going to be the second shot of the day, and the only reason I like it is because everything in the foreground, everything in front of me is green, and then there's a hole right there that's just clear, and then to the back is just trees, dark trees with shadows. So I like that bit of contrast with, you know, highlight in green here in the foreground and just very dark shadows in the background. Kind of dramatic, I don't have any type of story or really any type of explanation. It just catches my eye. And one thing I learned in my photography is to not question what my eye is drawn to. So this might make for a dramatic scene as well. There's a bench right there and some tree branches that are just poking out of the water. Probably gonna be a boring shot, but to me it's pretty cool. So the way I'm gonna shoot this photo is I'm gonna shoot it underexposed so that most of the scene is just shadows except the parts where the sun hits. So again, I'm gonna be shooting at f2.8. I'm not sure if I want to do portrait or landscape mode, but I'm gonna be dialing back my exposure. So I usually shoot at -0.3. I'm probably gonna shoot at 1 point. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Probably just -1 for now, and then I'll do whatever I need to do in the editing process. Probably do a little bit of portrait mode as well, just to be safe. This footpath is a pretty nice scene, I think. The light is also hitting it where you can clearly see it in the camera. So I'm gonna take a photo of this. In landscape mode, I'm gonna have the footpath in the middle and the trees to the side, basically. All right, so I'm at a fork in the road. I've been walking for quite a while now in the woods. I think it's time to head back, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop taking pictures. I still will on the way back. In a crowd of bushes, in a crowd of greens, this one just stands out because of how the light is hitting it. That is the magic of photography, man. Just light. So my focus point is going to be on the upper right because I want the branch of this thing here too. I'm shooting at f2.8. Focal length at 25. What the heck is happening? There you go. Man, that is nice. Maybe if I go 12 though and get a little bit closer. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Let's go to 40, which is the maximum that I can go with this camera. The only downside is I won't be able to focus quite as closely as I would at 12 millimeters, but this one separates it even more. So I am very close to the car right now, but I had to turn back because there's a heron just hanging around. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you probably can't see it. I'm gonna get closer. So there's the heron. I don't want to get too close and spook it out, so I don't want to talk around it either because I don't want it to fly. But so yeah, I'll just show you photos after I take them. Hey, so I'm back in the car and this ends the video on the Olympus E-M1 Mark II. I hope you had fun. I definitely did. I hope you learned something. If there's anything that you can take away though, it's that for $500 you can have a camera that punches way above its price range. You cannot even get a brand new camera for $500, even the entry-level ones. I don't think my photos on this photo walk did this camera justice, but I will take this to the grave and say, for $500, this is the best camera you can get in 2024. Comment if you disagree with me. Comment if you agree. But if you do disagree, give me another option. And I'll try my hardest to get a hold of that camera, give it a fair review, give it a fair shake. But yeah, man. So, yeah, I'll see you again soon. Give us a like, subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.